Oh my God.
Because those of you that have played the race card when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, you're about out of ammunition, my friends. And Deshaun Watson has been cleared to resume practice now. I want to know what's the excuse going to be. Well, you can't point to race because if they go with another black guy, it can't be a black thing.
The NFL is letting two black people have the same job. Wow, racism is solved. The fact of the matter is, Shedeur Sanders is a black quarterback in a league that has increasingly more black quarterbacks. That is only one part of the equation because this racism around Shedeur, it's not just, okay, well, if there's a black quarterback, clearly there's no racism. It's about how he's treated, how he's talked about. What is he allowed to say? How is he allowed to behave? It's about America's uncomfortability and the NFL's uncomfortability with black wealth and black status and how people with that wealth and status behave around them. American society at large believes that black people should repeatedly be grateful for the opportunities that they're given in a very specific performative way. They need to perform humility. They need to perform that they are so grateful to the white establishment. They're not allowed to stand on their merits. They're not allowed to be a certain type of confident. They have to code switch. There are all of these things at play when we talk about Shedeur Sanders. It's the same thing that comes into play when we talk about Lamar Jackson. When Major League Baseball started to integrate, it wasn't because they were no longer racist. It's because they wanted to win baseball games and make money. When the NBA started to integrate, it wasn't because they were no longer racist. It's because they wanted to win basketball games and make money. When the NFL became predominantly black in the late 1970s, it wasn't because they were no longer racist. It's because they wanted to win games and make money. They wanted stars. They wanted superstars. But all of these leagues and all of these institutions across the United States want black labor. They want black excellence. They want black greatness. They want to profit off of all of that on their terms. The existence of black people in predominantly white spaces or in spaces that are predominantly white owned and operated and run, or in the United States, which is simply just a white supremacist nation, the existence of black people thriving and succeeding in these areas does not disprove racism. When it was no longer tenable for the NFL to ignore that black men were succeeding at the quarterback position, they started to give more black men the opportunity to play quarterback. And the investment in the quarterback talent and all of that stuff still continues to this day to be an issue for black quarterbacks. Getting opportunities to make a lot of money does not mean there's no longer racism involved. The Cleveland Browns made a decision to pay Deshaun Watson $230 million, not because they're woke people who wanted to give a black guy a shot. They thought he could make them money. They thought it so much that they didn't give a fuck that he was assaulting 20 plus women all over the state of Texas. Outside of Myles Garrett and Shedeur Sanders, there is nothing to talk about with that team. They are profiting off of Shedeur. These leagues, these industries cannot succeed without black people. But that doesn't mean that they get treated equally. It doesn't mean that they get talked about the same way. It doesn't mean they get scouted the same way. Like that evidence is all there.